This presentation is going to be on nursing in the 1970s. A little insight to nursing in the 70s. At this time we've seen the women's movement, which was also called the second wave of feminism. Many hospitals were receiving these massive influxes in revenue, but it was not reflecting into their women nurses' paychecks. And these women were seeking equal rights to men, so they decided to fight for higher wages. They wanted to reap the monetary benefits as well as providing good care to their patients. The American Nurses Association submitted a proposal in '74 that allowed minorities to obtain higher education and begin earning PhDs. Through this, we've seen an enhance in the quality of healthcare for all ethnicities, because the minorities who took place in this began research on mental health and illness related directly to ethnicity and cross-cultural conflicts. And we also seen an influx in the development of hospice programs, birthing centers, and adult daycares. With these adult daycares or these nursing homes, we've seen a lot of poor care at this time. As the population was aging and more people needed this resource, Medicare and Medicaid began funding these hospitals and nursing homes. And the more patients that a center would receive, the more reimbursement Medicare and Medicaid would give them. And a hospital called John J. Cain Hospital took advantage of this. They're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's a long-term care facility for the elderly and disabled. They wanted more of this reimbursement money, so they took these frail elderly residents and turned them into patients to get this money. And conditions of abuse at this hospital were structured around class, gender, and race. There are first-person accounts that told about the understaffing and inattention to care that happened in these facilities. There were actually workers who would go in there and record things so they could report Cain Hospital. And in these recordings, we've seen that residents were denied exercise. They were restrained to jerry chairs, which is a seat that has a bar, and the resident cannot get out themselves. So they were stuck sitting in their own waste, and eventually they would develop sores and infection. A BSN essential that I think is important to talk about whenever we look at the situation that I just described from the 70s is domain of population health. We need to assess for any essential needs that that specific population needs. So in that case, we're taking care of elderly patients. They need things such as getting up and going exercise, being able to get out of their own chair, and they weren't provided this. We want to always identify ethical fundamentals to protect diverse groups. This was good in the 70s whenever minorities were able to start obtaining PhDs because we looked more into the ethical side of things in diverse groups and got them what they needed. We always want to do patient-centered plans that are safe and practical and efficient. And we need to always advocate for patients and vocalize the need for change, like the nurses did at Cain Hospital that took recordings and reported it and all of that stuff. Nurses overall just must create relationships between themselves and the patient and always focus on the patient's health. For QSIN, I wanted to look at quality improvement. We want to describe approaches for changing processes of care. So if you see something and you don't like it and you don't think it should be being done, describe what you should do to change that. As nursing students, we need to recognize that there aren't just nursing students, there are other types of students as well in the healthcare setting, and that they all play a part in the outcome for the patient and the family. And because of that, we need to appreciate what other people and other teams do to improve our patients' care. And that is it. Thank you.